everyone, and welcome to our Cloud Lunch and Learn session today. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending where you are joining. So, as you know, today we are going to talk all about accelerating software delivery, building a scalable CI/CD pipeline, and this is very important topic. Even though we are talking about AI a lot, there's AI buzz, but even with AI, you have to host and run that. You have to deploy those systems and you have to manage those things in a scalable way so that your company can get the benefits of the AI and deployments that you are doing using that technology or any models that you might have. So, in today's session, our speaker is going to speak about how to strike a balance when you are trying to accelerate your software delivery, which could be the AI agents, it could be any other software that you are currently running for your customers. So, in this session, we are going to look at some practice of scaling those CI/CD pipelines, how to automate the testing and build automation, some deployment strategies that you might be aware or may not be aware about. Then, what are the DevSecOps integration process into your security pipeline, and making sure that your systems are ready to scale and be secure. Today's guest, I'm very happy to introduce Dramendra. So let's welcome him to the studio. Hey, Dramendra, welcome to the studio. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for having me here.
Dra-
Nice to be part of the team.
You're welcome. So Dramendra is joining from Houston, Texas. And how are the things in Texas? Are you having a very warm, very hot weather now?
Yeah, it's a hot weather here
Yeah, I know.
in the summer.
We are talking about triple digits, right, in Fahrenheit.
Not yet in triple
Not
digits.
yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Okay. That's good. All right. Dramendra, any fun facts that you want to share with our users before jumping into the session?
Yeah, the fun fact about me is like I like meditating a lot and spending time with my family.
Awesome.
That's the only fun fact I have.
Great. That's fine. And Dramendra, without any overdue, I'm going to share back the slides and so that you can start the presentation. So without any overdue, let me make sure we can see your slides. So is this the first slide that you want to share?
Yes, this is the
All
first
right.
slide. Yeah.
So, floor is yours. Go ahead and good luck with your session. I'll be in the background.
Thank you. Um, So thank you everyone for joining. So today we are going to talk about how to optimize the software delivery with robust CI/CD pipeline. So the idea behind this session is like I would like to wanted to share the learning and experience I got working in DevOps industry. Like I have around 18 plus years of experience in IT and 10 plus years of experience in DevOps area, and I wanted to share the best practices which I have learned. So I wanted to share that with every one of you. So I wanted to talk about how do we accelerate development and how do we enhance the code quality, and also how to enhance the security in the CI/CD pipelines, so that we can get the maximum benefit of the tools and technologies we have around the corner, and like, not just the speed, we need the security also in today's world. As we know, like there are a lot of security breaches happening. So I have put a lot of emphasis on how to make our CI/CD pipeline secure, and also how do we make it scalable. That is very important here, because as the demand for the pipelines grow, and we are in like a high pressure environment in our IT industry, like we need to deliver more and more. But how do we make it secure? uh, so we need the speed and the security and scalability all. Like we all need all three things in today's world. So as we know, CI/CD pipeline is like a backbone of our DevOps practices, and it is it bridges the gap between the development and operations, right? So through the automation, it is like kind of creating a bridge, and we will see, like with the help of CI/CD pipeline, we can achieve faster deployments, and also we can see like how we can do the faster deployment along with catering the needs of the multiple teams. with the help of CI/CD pipelines. So let's go to the next slide. So as we said, like why CI/CD matters. So CI/CD matters a lot because we are in a world of like high efficiency. Every company wants the high. Wants us to be highly efficient. They want high efficient teams. So and since they want high efficient teams, they want us to produce a lot, and along with like less defects. So we want more quality along the speed as well, and they want like faster product delivery, so that the time they want to reduce the time to market. They want us to wants to produce more features in the less span of time. And also we need to have a logs in the place so that we can troubleshoot if anything fails, and also if anything goes wrong we should be able to roll back. So all these pillars, like five pillars we just mentioned: high efficiency, reduced risk of defects, faster delivery, exclusive log generation, and easier rollback. So these are the things CI/CD provides, and that's the reason it is very important in today's world. So not only in DevOps, in MLOps world also we have the same principles. So the principles remain the same, only the packaging is changing. That's yeah. And behind the scene how MLOps works, I'm not going to get into the details here, but the foundation is the same. So before I go, is any questions? If not, then I'll go to the next one. So key components of the pipeline. So CI/CD pipeline has like version control. So we make sure that we have it. Integrates with Git repository. So the Git provides as the way to do the version controlling. So we so that we can track the changes and we can collaborate effectively and maintain a single source of truth of the code. So that is how the Git helps. And the other component is like automated testing. We can automate our testing process. We can, whatever the tools we have in the market like JMeter, Selenium, all these tools we can integrate with the pipeline, so which helps a lot to so that we can test along the delivery. So automated testing tools can be integrated. We have a build automation, like we have tools like Jenkins or CircleCI, which automatically compile the code and create like deployable artifacts. So that is very important. So that's why the build automation is provided as part of the pipeline. And also the deployment automation. So first we build the package, like if we talk about Java or .NET, so we are, or any other language. So first we build the package, uh, and then we deploy. So for building we are using so Jenkins or any tool like Azure DevOps or any other tool that provides us the capability to build the package first, and then we do the deployment. So the next one. So as I mentioned about the testing, so automated testing is not just about your functional testing. It is about how we can package in the entire life cycle, how we can test it during the entire life cycle. So it provides us like a unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and performance testing. So unit testing is testing the individual components in isolation to verify the correct functionality. And integration testing is about testing the different components uh, that works together as expected. And system testing is like testing the complete application and making sure it meets the requirement. And performance testing is evaluating the performance and making sure how the system performs within the given load and within the various conditions. So we simulate with the different load conditions. So uh, that is the performance testing we do. So in performance testing, there are like lot of flavors we have. For example, we have load testing, we have a stress testing. So like two major things we do, and also like a single user testing to do the benchmark. So we all these things are possible through automated tools, and it helps to uh, it helps to integrate with the CI/CD pipeline. So once the integration is in place, we can easily scale the software delivery without compromising the quality, because we have integrated the quality in the CI/CD pipeline. So yeah, I will go to the next one. So build automation tools. So this is the favorite topic I have. So build automation tools, as I mentioned in the agenda also, like we were talking about the Jenkins and CircleCI. So the idea was to give it. These are the just two tools, but I wanted to introduce the other tools also, like we have in the market. So we have like Jenkins. So Jenkins is a versatile open source automation tool, and it comes with a lot of plugins. So that is a very popular tool. But we have other tools too, like we have CircleCI. CircleCI is a cloud-based CI/CD service, and and we have another one is the GitHub Actions. So GitHub Actions is also another popular, is getting a lot of popularity in the market. It is because it is integrated with GitHub, so it is giving more accessibility to people who are already using the GitHub. So it integrates with the GitHub, and seamless integration it provides, and also for all the repositories, and it is also like easy to learn as well. And then we have a GitLab CI, and that is also built in CI/CD pipeline with the GitLab platform. So it is another platform. And then finally we have Azure DevOps. So Azure DevOps is it's a Microsoft enterprise product, and it provides end-to-end DevOps solutions. So and Azure DevOps, you can maintain your code repository as well, and also it helps you to it gives you a lot of other features like pipeline feature also. Managing artifacts also is possible with Azure DevOps. So if you are a pure Microsoft shop, then generally whoever is in Microsoft, they generally use Azure DevOps, as it provides a easy integration. Whoever is using Microsoft products within the company. So selecting the right tool is very important. Because that also depends on your team dynamics and your organization policy. So that helps to make a decision, and also guide the kind of technology stack you're using, and what are your um scaling requirements. It depends on all of that. So it is, but nowadays, like almost all the tools are support the containerization and infrastructure as a code. So these days, we can create the pipelines using infrastructure as a code. Uh, that is a very important concept. It's like a backbone of the CI/CD pipelines these days, as we need when we need the scalability, when we need to create more pipelines because of the microservices environment. If we are in a microservices environment, we need to create pipeline as for each microservice. Then infrastructure as a code helps a lot. So nowadays, all the tools are supporting infrastructure as a code. So that is very important concept here. And with the effective implementation of the right tools, we can achieve up to like reduce the timelines by 70%. And we have also case studies in this presentation, which we'll talk about, like how companies have selected the effective deployment strategies, and how they have saved a lot of money, like they did the cost saving, also reduced effects. So we will talk about all of those in the upcoming slides. So I'll take a pause here and just wanted to check if any questions before I move further. If not, I'm going to go on the next slide. So another topic is deployment strategy. So three deployment strategies we are using in the industry. Uh, First one is like a blue-green deployment. Second one is the canary, and third one is the rolling update. So in blue-green deployment, we are maintaining two identical production environments with like with only one active at a time, and allowing for like a time deployments by switching traffic between them. And then we have a canary. So canary is another one where we are gradually rolling out the changes to like a small set of people, a small set of users before the full deployment. And so it allows the teams to test in production uh, with the minimal risk. And the third one is the rolling update. So in rolling update, we are incrementally updating the instances of application to ensure continuous availability is there during the deployment. So all three strategies are great, but it depends on case to case. So we'll go a deep dive into it. In the blue green deployment, like we are maintaining two environments. One is the live environment, which is called blue, and the other one is the idle or staging environment, that is called green environment. So in we deploy the new version. So whenever we need to do a release, so we deploy to green environment first, and we test it there thoroughly. And once we get a confidence that everything is working fine, then we switch the traffic to blue environment, so that we have a good backup plan in place. So that if there any issue occurs, we will switch the traffic back. Uh, we'll switch the traffic back. So that is a great strategy we have in place. So first, like blue environment is like initially we'll serve all the traffic, and we will deploy the new application to the green environment. And we will be in the green environment, we will be running like all the automated tests. We discuss manual testing or smoke testing. We do all of those testing in green, as we don't want to touch the blue environment. And once everything is good, then we will redirect our traffic to, via load balancer, we will redirect traffic to green. And then if issue arise, then we will roll it back to blue. So the goal here is when our application requires zero downtime, when we don't want to compromise on the um, on the deployment, or like we want to make sure that our application is like 100% available all the time. And then we can instantly roll back, and this is more safe and like a stage. And so the user will not have any issues. Like they will have a seamless experience. They will never notice if there was ever downtime or any issues in the application. So when the availability is the prime concern, then this strategy is good, but it comes with the cost. So since you have to maintain two environments at the same time, it requires lots of investment from the corporate perspective. So that's the reason it is important how do we choose a strategy. So then we will talk next one about the canary deployment. Canary is a technique where we release like a new version of our application to a small subset of users before rolling out to everyone. So the goal is to detect issues with the minimal risk. That is the idea here. So for example, when if we developed a new feature, right, and we wanted to test the feature um, to a specific set of users. So for example, we want to test with 1 or 2 or 5% if it's in the beta phase itself, and we wanted to test how it reflects, like what is our user feedback, and whether users are liking it or not. Then this is strategy is great, because then you can test and get the feedback with a small set of users, and monitor the metrics and see what data we get from them. And if it looks good, then we can gradually start increasing the traffic for more set of users. So initially we can start with 5%, then we can later on we can roll out this one to like 20% or 40%, and gradually we will increase uh, the deployment to 100%. So the benefit here is like we will continuously monitor. So that is where continuous monitoring is very important in our pipeline. So we will discuss like how Prometheus and Grafana also helps here, um, for the continuous monitoring and testing, and making sure that our application is available all the time, and we are not running into any issues. And if something breaks in between, like when we are, let's say, rolling out to like 5% or 10%, and if something breaks, we can roll back immediately, or we can or yeah, we can roll back immediately, or we need to pause the rollout, we can pause it. So the what we are getting from here, so we are getting minimize the risk. So we are de-risking the situation by rolling out the feature to only a small set of users. And and it also enables like a progressive delivery. So we will progress the delivery slowly. So and we can and we are getting the user feedback at the same time delivery. So these are the two things we are getting. And so how we roll back? So rollback is like if we are running it in a so we'll be integrating Prometheus or Grafana and or other dashboards like Datadog also is there. So if we will be monitoring the metrics and if any logs indicate the problem, then we can if any logs is indicating any problem, then we will stop the rollout and we will roll out the traffic to the stable version immediately. And so we will investigate again and we'll go through the logs. We will fix the issues wherever we have, and then we will when the version is stable, we will roll out again. So this is the strategy, another great strategy which we use in today's world. So I'll go to the next one. The next one is the rolling deployment. So rolling deployment is a strategy where we are releasing the specific application components, and they are updated incrementally. So one at a time. So all the small batches we increment. So until all the instances or full application are within version. So how we do it like we have an instance. We have a system which is running on the 55 instances of version and rolling update this ways. What we do is it will gradually terminates and replaces the old instances with the new ones, right? And during the update, both the versions may coexist. And once all instances are updated and healthy, the deployment is complete, and we will switch the users to the new instances. So that is how we are doing it. And so what do we get out of it? So we get like continuous availability. If the availability is an issue, is a concern, then we can achieve this. And we are minimizing the risk, deployment risk. And then third one is like it will give you a ability to smoothly upgrade without full environment duplication. So you are not duplicating two environments, but you are maintaining you are slowly rolling out the features to the new environment, but the cost you can control here, not like uh, blue green. So the cost is less, and also you are rolling. So it is like kind of a mix between canary and blue green deployment. So if anything goes bad, like if you realize any problem, then you identify what the problem is in the code, and then if you realize it, okay, you're looking at the dashboard matrices, and if anything goes wrong, if the rollout is still in progress, you can pause it, and then find the what was the last successful version, and then you will switch your instances to that version. So we will do a switchback mechanism, and we will revert the deployment to the stable version. So that is how we roll back if anything goes wrong. So the next topic is like we will discuss the success rate, like how companies are saving cost with the blue green deployment. So there are several categories. So cost saving is downtime reduction is one parameter, rollback efficiency is another parameter, productivity, it increases the team productivity, and also it increases the environment efficiency. So that is how these are the parameters we have. And so Zafin was one of the company which is in like a kind of financial company. They eliminated the downtime in production, right? And then like so what did they do is like with the help of implementing blue green deployment, they were able to save near like 100K, uh, because they didn't need to pay through the SLA penalties, because SLA is a service level agreement, and if you don't maintain your SLA, it comes with a penalty. So with the help of blue green deployment, they didn't need to pay that heavy penalty. So that is how they were able to save 100K in that. And rollback efficiency, like like immediately rollback, avoid like extended incident response cost. So another company like Mochi, like it is about it recovered in seconds versus hours. So using Kubernetes plus Argo CD, so it's like a containerized environment they had. So they were able to recover in seconds versus hours. So that is how, if you can easily roll back, it also helps a lot with the savings. And DevOps productivity, like if you have clean deployment, so that helps to save the time by 40% and 70%. So you are reducing 40% effort, and it is giving you 67% in productivity. And so Idea Clean is another company which help with this blue green deployment, and it helps with the uh, with the time. And the test environment efficiency is another parameter. So it helps you to maintain two environments, so no need for multiple test environments. So you have one environment where you can deploy and test, and then another one will is your production environment, so that you're switching between two. So it is giving you the environment efficiency also. So as we see, like approximately the return on investment is close to 40%, 20 to 40%, it varies. And also it is giving you 100% availability in the high SLA environment. So if the SLA is your primary criteria, then this strategy is really good strategy based on the facts we have available in the market. Next one is the canary. So we did I gathered the facts for canary deployment also. So the canary deployment, how it helps is like early bug detection. So we have Netflix and Shopify, they use canary a lot. And we have seen, like in Netflix, they don't roll out the new features to all the users, they test with the few users first. So they are the big fan of canary deployment, and they use like a canary and metrics to catch errors before full rollout. And so selective rollout is like in another category where avoid scaling up infra for failed bits. So since we have if we are deploying the full features, it comes with the infra cost also. And if since we are rolling out our builds to like a few users, so the infrastructure cost we can control during testing in the production. So it is helping to spend less resources versus full deployment, right? And then we have reduced rollback waste. So few users are impacted, then few customer refunds and call center costs. So Spotify is another company like which deploys in progressive waves to mitigate the risk. And so with this strategy, like approximately companies have saved from 25% to 50% on debugging effort and long-term upside from data-driven improvements. So this is the case study we have got from Canary. So I just wanted to share the results, like and because we so that it will start making more sense how companies are getting benefit if they are implementing in one of the strategy. So I wanted to share that along with you. Um, Now the other topic is about continuous monitoring. So continuous monitoring is very important, as we saw. Like if whatever the strategies we pick, like if we are picking either canary or blue green. So in any or rolling update, if any of the strategy we are picking, we need the monitoring in place, because monitoring, it's like kind of a backbone here, and it is kind of continuously checking on our system, making sure that in production nothing should break. So if anything is any important component is breaking, so for example your network, your CPU or memory, or any problem we are facing during the production environment deployment and also post production, then it gives immediate feedback. Okay, this is an issue and we need to address it. So that is where Prometheus and Grafana integration really helps. So it will track the application performance, like latency, throughput, and error rates, and it will detect anomalies and address issues uh, before they impact the end users. So it so that we can maintain our SLAs. And it will also collect like operational data to inform like a future development priorities and infrastructure needs. So based on the metrics we get, we know where the problem is, and if we need to add more memory, more CPU, or more metal we need to add, we will be able to add based on the feedback we receive. And also, if we have a SLA and SLO, right, service level objectives, or service level agreement. So we can, with this matrix, we can meet those numbers, uh, as we saw, like in the previous slide, that some companies have where SLA is a very important criteria for them. Otherwise, they have a penalty. So it becomes more important for them to have this in place. Yeah. So next topic is security. So before I go further, I will just take a pause to check if anyone has any questions before I proceed further. Okay, if not, then I will proceed. So DevSecOps integrating security. So security is very important in today's world, as we have seen security breaches happening everywhere, and it is like kind of uh, uh, crucial topic these days in the market, as we don't want to compromise security if you are scaling the application stack, or if you are rolling out the features to new set of users. So we don't want to compromise on the security. So integrating security in the DevOps pipeline is very important. Um, and how we do it, like we do the security scanning. We will continuously scan all the dependencies. We will scan the code and configuration files, and making sure that security uh, is integrated at each stage of the development. So that is why scanning is very important. So we have tools called SonarQube, and we have, or like SonarQube is there, and so we, like, it's a kind of a SaaS tool. So that is why this is it helps a lot to scan the files. And secret management. So secret management is like, how do you, so since we are using service accounts or any other parameters where we need to have the environment variables where we have a user ID and password, and we don't want to store them in the configuration files. So it is very important how we are securing our secrets, and making sure that we are rotating our secrets and our API keys and certificates. So it is very important how we are handling this, as it exposes uh, uh, our backbone of the application. So if we don't manage the secrets properly, if it is gone in the wrong hands, it can it is like it will help the hackers to breach, right? So that's why it is very important that we are managing the secrets properly. In upcoming slides, we'll see how we do that. And the third one is compliance check. So compliance is, as we have discussed about SLAs, right? So we have other standards like OASP and regulatory requirements, HIPAA requirements. So uh, having security in place, integrating security in place, making helps us to make sure that automated verification is there in place, and we are maintaining the standards defined by the industry. So that also helps. And penetration testing, as we discussed, like so penetration testing is systematic stimulated attacks before, both manually and through the automation. So the hackers will so we kind of simulate the environment, so that we'll simulate the attacks, uh, like in a both a manual and automated way, to identify if there's any issue in the application, or if anything is not secure, we'll identify the areas in the code which needs to be secured. So that's why penetration testing is important. But we will talk more about how we are doing the scanning and how we are managing the secrets in upcoming slides, as we can more control on these areas. Yeah. So security best practices, we are discussing like secrets management. So we have in AWS environment, if you are using AWS cloud, or if you're using Azure, so AWS Secrets Manager is the very important service we use. And in Azure, we use Azure Key Vault to maintain the secrets. We also have a tool from HashiCorp Vault, so we can store the secrets in any of these places. Um, And what we do is like we rotate the secrets regularly. We can have a pipeline, we can do it through the pipeline, or we can use a rotation policies also is there. So with the help of that automated secret rotation policy, we can rotate the secrets on the regular basis. Third important criteria is apply the least privilege. So we should not be giving admin role or any high we need to define the scope on what kind of uh, jobs can a service account do. So we need to make sure that we are giving the least privilege uh, principle. Using least privilege principle, we are giving only the required permissions a pipeline job can do. Uh, and then we have a set as scope and roles. So in Azure, like we can see, like there are scope and roles. We can limit to what you can control. So we should not be giving read write access, which where read only is required, is an example. So that is why it is important. We are using the least privilege principle, and if wherever possible, we can use dynamic credentials also. So with the dynamic credentials, you are not using the static secret again and again. You are using a dynamic secret. So we can take the help of Vault. So Vault will generate the secret, and and using AWS an IAM service role. If you're using AWS cloud, and then you can use this combination to fetch the dynamic secret. In Azure also we can do it. We will be using Azure service principal and Azure keyword to do that. So other best practice is secret should only be visible during the job execution. So we should not be storing the secret in the configuration files or in the artifact building. So it should not be packaged with the application. It should be living separately. And also we need to make sure that audit logs are enabled, so that we can find who is accessing our secret and when their secret was accessed, if we need to diagnose it. So that is the important aspect of the security. um, other topic is like in security best practice environment isolation. So we should be storing the secrets per environment. So we should not be having the, as we have seen in the best practices, like we should not have our user ID and password for all our bank accounts or all our applications, as as it increases the security risk. So it is better to isolate secrets per environment. And and we can use CI/CD features to define environment scope secret. So we can use the configuration files to do that. And like GitHub Actions also provide the way of doing it. GitLab also has a group or project secrets. We can do that. In Jenkins also, it gives you a capability. You can use folder or credentials plugin to scope the credentials. So there are tools available in the market which helps us to do that. So like as I mentioned earlier, like we should be injecting secrets at the runtime. So it's an example here I have taken. So like in the, if you're using a configuration file, YAML file, right? So in YAML file we define the steps when we need to like where, at what point of time we need the secret. So we can configure, for example, configure AWS credentials. We are configuring it. We are using IAM role to do that, and then we are getting the secrets from the secret manager. So we are fetching the secret in the runtime. And so at the runtime, and then we are masking here, we are adding the mask, and then we are deploying the secret, deploying with the secret. So we are not, and nowhere we are storing the secret in the configuration. The secret is living in the secrets manager. That's a AWS service. That's where we will be storing the secret. It is like a key value pair. We will be storing there, and at the runtime we are fetching the secret as part of the job, and we will mask the secret, and then we will deploy with the secret. So that is how we do it. And so, and also we can implement secret scanning in a pre-commit and CI. So we can have a pre-commit hooks, so that we can detect the secrets before they reach the repo. So we can integrate that. uh, and also we can use the tools in the market, detect secrets or pre-commit or truffle hog. So that will help us to identify if there's any secret is living within the application code. So we can use these tools to scan basically all the PRs in pipeline to make sure that there are no leaks of the secrets in the code. Yeah, the next one is we can use ephemeral credentials when possible. So like as in Azure world, we use Azure managed identity service principal. In GCP we have a workload identity, and in AWS we are using IAM roles. So we need to make sure that uh, use the IAM roles or service principal just to scope and giving the least privilege as possible. We should not be exposing our IAM role to like giving like kind of an admin access to that role so that it can do a lot, and then it can create a problem for us. So, and also making sure that we are not using long-lived tokens. If you're using long-lived tokens or static access key, then it is a problem, because then if it is a long-lived token, it can be breached. So if someone got it, then it can create more damage uh, to the application and the infrastructure. The other one is like automated and rotate secrets regularly. So we can use a secret rotation policy. So we can in a AWS secret manager, gives us a capability to automatically rotate using lambda functions. So we can do that. Also a keyword like also support short-lived dynamic secrets, and also making sure that we have enabled the audit log to track um, like who accessed the secret. And so if you're using groups in Azure, like so we then we can also check who is accessing, who is a part of the group, and has accessed. So audit logs helps a lot to diagnose it, to get the bottom of the problem. Okay, next one I'll go is implementing the rollback access control. So rollback access control is like granting the least privilege access to the users and service. So as I mentioned about using IAM role, or so just giving the scope to the role uh, is very important. So restrict access to the configuration files, environments, and secret. So if a service principal, if you're using a separate service principal for dev environment and separate service principal for test and production, then we can restrict the access what each service principal can do, so that they don't have access to the cross environment. And so that we using the separate identities helps. So what we can do is we can use scan the code and dependency. We can use the standard integrated tools like a dependabot. In GitHub we have a dependabot tool, or a snic. So we can use these tools to scan our vulnerabilities, and whatever the dependencies, like whatever vulnerable dependencies are there, it can automatically scan in the code and it will give us the feedback, and so that we can fix it before proceeding further. Yeah, so this is very important. And we need to protect our configuration. So we can keep pipeline definitions like Jenkins or Azure Pipeline YAML in the version control, so we can uh, put it under the Git repository. So, and we can also review and restrict like who can edit the pipeline definition. So that is also a very good way of doing it. And making sure that third-party plugins and integrations are verified. Uh, so that is how it helps to protect the configuration. We can using it, we can protect. And so that we should not be if we are we will be maintaining separate branches, and we can control, like for example, if you have a DevOps team, so the DevOps team members should have access to only the pipelines configuration files, not the developers and other team members like or testers. So that's how we are doing isolation based on the role, and making sure that it is not exposed to others. Otherwise they can make changes and make your pipeline files more vulnerable. So that is why it is important how we protect our configuration. So, and other one is like securing the network communication. So we need to make sure that we are using HTTPS or SSH for all the interactions with the version control, so that we are making sure that our traffic is secure. So like if we are talking to our pipeline and application components in a secure manner, not in an open network. Otherwise it exposes our application to security. So we don't want that to happen. So that's why it is important to restrict our pipelines internet access to only required endpoints. Not It should not be exposed to internet. Otherwise, yeah, hackers can get into it and they can harm the application and the environment. Yeah, use the immutable artifacts. So like build once and store the artifacts in a secure version, and we can use that, like build once and deploy and isolate the environment. So run build in containers. So for example, nowadays we have a Docker and Kubernetes. So every nowadays each and other pipeline is using containerized environment. So we can isolate the environments for build and test and staging. So we can use that, so that we will give only we can simulate what parameters we need. So containerized environments are there in the market, so we can use that. And enforce code reviews. So we should not be pushing anything to our environments without code reviews and approval. So we need to make sure that someone should look at and review the code and approve it before it goes further. So that is a very important practice, which everyone is, I think almost every other company is following that they are making sure that the code is reviewed properly and approved before it moves to the higher environment. So the other one is like how to scale the pipeline. So we discussed what are the security best practices, but as I mentioned, we need security along with the scalability. So we discuss the security, but how do we scale the pipeline? So scaling is important because when the our need grows of the pipeline, then we need to make sure that our tools and technology is supporting that. So we can do like a horizontal scaling, vertical scaling. So if we need more runners or more agents, right, we can use horizontal scaling. We can add more runners for parallel builds, and all the tools supports that. And the vertical scaling is like increasing the resources. If if we identified one of the agent, if you don't want to increase the number of agents, if we want to just use the same number of agents, and if you want to increase the CPU or memory, we can do that. And so that is vertical scaling. So as I mentioned about the microservices, so that is crucial these days. Like we can use micro pipeline architecture. So what happens is for each pipeline, we can, like, whatever the scope of the work we have, we can break down into the number of pipelines, so that it is like a reusable micro pipeline. And every pipeline will do like we have a separate pipeline for test, build, integration, and deployment, and scanning the stages. So we can do that. And we can have a trigger pipeline conditionally based on the file. So whenever the file or module changes, so only that microservice pipeline will trigger. So that is how we can achieve that. So that is a very good way of scaling it. And also how we can do it is and distribute the work. So when we distribute it, like using parallel distribution, so what we can do is like we can split the test across multiple runners. For example, unit test will be in a separate runner, integration test will be in another runner. So and like we have tools like knapsack or CircleCI, we can use that, or JUnit timing. We can use these tools to see, like, to distribute the work. And also if you're using Jenkins also, like you can create a separate stage for and you can run the stages in parallel in a asynchronous mode. Then you can help that it will help you to get that flexibility, so that you can run the workload in parallel. And the other one is like offloading, like long running. So if we are running like heavy jobs, so we can offload it. We don't need to run security scan or Docker in a dedicated jobs. We can run it in parallel, or we can offload it on the external environment, so that you don't need to basically increase the burden on your main pipeline. So we can do that. So SonarQube or Snake helps with that. And you can schedule your workload based on it. For example, if like if we need to do any security scan, and if it's a heavy job, we can schedule it at the later part of the day when your developers don't need the pipeline at that point of time. So we can do that. And we can introduce the code quality gates. I talked about already, SAS scans. So we can do that. And so static analysis is very important, so we can introduce the quality gates. And as mentioned, I already talked about the pipeline as a code. So these days, like Terraform, like and Terraform is very important tool which we can use to take help and to do infrastructure as a code. We can create the pipelines based on the need. So we can use CI/CD factory is another concept which I have implemented in my project. So we have created the CI/CD factory to create a number of pipelines for our environment. So based on the each microservice, we were able to create pipelines based on our need. So that is another important aspect. So secure, making sure the security is not falling behind. So making sure that we are using secret manager, least privilege principle we are using, and making sure that we are validating the PRs with per environment. We are not deploying everything without approval. So that is important, and also it helps to support the multiple teams. So what happens is like you can use the pipeline templates for consistent quality. So if you have a everything is version control, then definitely it helps to scale also. So how what happens is like when you have the CI/CD pipelines in place, it transform the team dynamics also. So it will reduce the dependency between the teams. You have a single source of truth, that is your pipeline code, and and all the team members can review it and collaborate on that. So it is like you and also it breaks the silos between the teams. So like dev team and operations team, we don't need to it is like kind of bridging the gaps in between. So so that is why it is important. The team dynamics is also maintained through the CI/CD, so and it helps there. So that is the now we'll talk about the impact. So it is so like who what are the companies? I have listed the companies name who have implemented the CI/CD pipelines and what they have achieved. So, for example, Amazon, HC, Capital One, Adobe, and so on. Like uh, they have cost savings up to 1 million per year and 900K per year, and some companies have done even 3 million and 2 million as well. So, and that is what I'm showing it here. So, who like it? The impact is measurable. We can look into it and see like how companies have taken the benefit by implementing the right strategy, and whether it's a canary or it's a rolling deployment. But again, the security is also important aspect along the scalability. So the key takeaways like automation is very important, and we need to make sure how we are automating as much as possible, and security should be integrated, right? And apart from that, we need to have the monitoring in place. If the monitoring is not there, if anything goes wrong, we will not be able to figure out where what is breaking. So and also the fourth thing is like we should be able to measure along with the scalability, like whatever we are doing, whether it is making sense or whether it is giving the benefit or not. So I think yeah, thank you for joining the session. So I'll hand it over to you for any questions.
Hey, thank you, Dramendra, for your presentation. It went pretty well. So I have a question to you. Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
yeah, sure, sure. I can hear you.
All
Yeah,
good?
please.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
all good, all good.
So
Yeah.
yeah, thank you for presentation. It was interesting. Uh, so if users have any questions about your presentation and the details that you shared, how they can connect with you, how they can ask the question.
Yeah, sure. They can reach out to me over the LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm available on over the LinkedIn, so they can reach out to me, send me the connection request, and they can post the question to me as well. And whatever the
Yes,
question you have, I'm happy to answer. Yeah, yeah, and give them the references also, so that they can
great.
read about it. Yeah.
Yes. So, from your perspective, in like securing the DevSecOps from the projects that securing the CI/CD pipelines from the projects that you have been
Yeah.
for the last 6 months, where do you see the the biggest urgency, where the customers were more engaged and they wanna, see something. Basically, where did you see the demand from the customers?
So the demand is like may. So in the CI/CD pipelines, from DevSecOps perspective, everywhere they want making sure that security is the number one criteria, because we can see there are a lot of breaches happening around the world. We
Yeah,
see, so they are saying making sure that in my recent projects also they were giving emphasis on making sure that application is secure as much as possible. So for that they want to make sure that no application secret is storing in configuration files,
sure.
making sure that, yeah, making sure that we have a sonar cube is in place, like SAST and DAST scanning is in place. So that is a lot of emphasis on that. And as
Hmm.
and like shifting the security to the left in the delivery cycle. Left means like along we develop, we should make sure that nothing is exposed, right? So making sure that we are using least privilege principles, we are not exposing a lot of scopes, right, to the service principal or IAM role, making sure that role have a least privileges as much as we need. And making sure that we are not leaving anything behind in the. So we have a lot of audits happening on a regular basis from security team, just to make sure that security is integrated. So
Okay, got
yeah.
it, got it. Yeah, thank you. So let me ask another question, then we can wrap up if there's
So
no more questions on the studio. And that question is, when you get the pipelines, there are many open source tools and packages that have been used in deployment, right, of the software and as well as building the environment. So how in the with the customers that you worked with, how did you ensure? What's the way to ensure that there's no vulnerability in those tools and the packages?
yeah, sure. So if we are using any open source, so in our company, then we look at the details, and we have a team, another team in place. They will be releasing the softwares which are secure. So and then we look at the open source components. Okay, if our package, if you're using any of the dependency, and if it is if it is whitelisted or not in from our company's perspective, and if they find any open source has is exposed, then we need to replace it with the stable version. So that's why it is important that we package the software which has a stable version, so we can identify that thing. So for example, if we are using maven packages in java, so that also we can check online on java central, right, like maven central. We can find out, okay, which is a stable version, and which has if there is any security exposure is there, then we can get to know, and we can,
Yes.
yeah, switch to the list, like making sure that we are switching back to the stable version. Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
that's it.
that's great. All right, Ramendra, thank you for that responses. Again, if anyone has any questions, please put them in the chat, and we'll be happy to bring that to the studio. So Ramendra answered few questions here, which is great. And if you want to reach back to Ramendra about his slides or anything that you find interesting that you want to follow up, you can reach him on LinkedIn. And again, thank you everyone for joining our session today, watching this. If you have any questions, have a follow back, and we'll be happy to address that. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Thank you for joining our session. Thank you, Ramendra.
Thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity. Yeah, it was nice to be part of this team, and
Thank
happy
you,
to
guys.
deliver more. Yeah, thank you.